Okay, so this recording is in regards to Google Classroom. I've gone through and made some sample classes to help some of the teachers out at the campus I work at. Uh, the only issue is that we have to find some way to either robocall or send a mass email out, or just brute force call all the students to let them know these are logins, this is the link, so on and so forth for each class. And I think like CPS is doing, it'll be somewhat effective. Only difference is Google Classroom allows you to do in-system grading, and we already have the platform for ESB to do all of our gradebook. So it'll be like a bit of redundancy, I should say, on our part to do both. I've been using Zoom Classroom, but I'm gonna do a quick walkthrough of Google Classroom as to how I would implement it. I'm very much aware that Mr. Funes is going to do one as well, but I'm gonna send this out to the staff generally so you get a familiarity. And this is not so that you will have to implement it or administrate it, but it's so that you can explain it to the students and possibly share this video for further edification. All right, so let's jump into it. Share screen. And hopefully you're seeing what I see. I have 4 classes. I have to make one more for credit recovery. So I'm gonna go through the classes. I'm gonna cycle through them real quick. For my third period students, I have a Google Classroom I set up. And the most important part to give your students is the class code. This allows them to get there, and then once you go through the settings, and I'll go through that real quickly, you will want to click on generate a link for Google Meets. Now this is very important because I want to test this out and make sure students can access it, but not just with their CPS accounts, because some students have Gmail, so they should be able to utilize getting into the classroom and the teachers posting a repository of information. Now, this is supposed to, I guess, substitute what would happen to Zoom if they stop providing free service to teachers. I don't know when that is during this crisis, but as a backup plan for virtual instruction or distance learning, we're going to try to do what CPS is already doing, for what I understand from QNES and them. So it's just a contingency plan. But currently now I'm recording, excuse me, recording on Zoom because it's easier. And as I test the capabilities, I'll let you know if the recording features and everything else are similar to what we experience with Zoom. So moving on, and also I should note that CPS really doesn't recommend us using Zoom because you can get bombed where certain people hack into the rooms. And as a teacher, you gotta be proactive enough and quick enough to kick certain people out who shouldn't be there and are just there for fun. So let's take a look at this. This is one of the classes. I would share this link here entirely with the students, and they would need to use that to get to the class code to be approved to be in the class. Also, you can stream, and like I said, add classwork, but you should be already doing this in ESB. So people, grades, ESB, so on and so forth. But I just work with the streams, kind of like the message board feature of ESB. Now, moving on, I got a few classes that I edited and got ready to utilize for streaming communication, similar to what a traditional CPS teacher would do. Next, I'm going to add one more class that I still am running credit recovery. So if I wanted to do that, let me come out of here and start at the very beginning. Excuse me. I had a little bit of ginger ale. Start at the very beginning and click on classes. All right. This is the teacher view. So when you sign up for Google Meets and you do all this, make sure you select teacher as opposed to student. So they give me updates on what's new, but it's not what I want. But this plus sign here is create or join a class. Now, when the students, get their Gmail and or their CPS account and they want to get into the room, they're going to click on join class. But we're teachers, or I'm sorry, educators. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to select create a class. All right. So my class is currently credit recovery. Right. And this is for physics, from what I understand, and chemistry. students. All right. And the section, I just labeled it STEM because that's pretty much what it is, but I'm sorry, that's a subject. But I'm labeling it the period number, and this is just credit recovery. There was not really a designated period for that. So credit recovery. I like to be a little redundant so it's clear is what I'm doing. Subject matter is STEM because this just covers environmental science, physics, chemistry, biology. That's all STEM. That's all underneath that one letter of S for STEM. Moving on. And what I've been putting is virtual classroom. My room when the classroom was open was number 8. So put you virtual online because that's what it is, in my opinion, and create. All right, so I teach about 5 classes. I'm waiting for this to process. And honestly, when you look at this, it'll, automatically set the theme for you and everything. So it's kind of cool, but there's some other things you got to do before you're quite done because you got to save all these settings. So I'm going to come, where are we at? I have my class code, but I'm still missing some things. So let me come down. I went back to that gear up top, and we're missing the meat, right? So you want to come here, and like I said, with all the 4 classes I showed you earlier, they had Google Meets. This is how your students will virtually see you, talk to you, and right now I'm testing recording because it's kind of, hard or very frustrating to go through a full class, you didn't record it, and now you got to reteach. So you kind of want this feature, but I want to test its limits like Zoom to record and process back. So generate meet link. You can do this at any time. Just go back to that gear head. And it's visible to students. You really don't need to mess with this because at Camelot, we're using EDSB, so that's not a feature. And then you want to make sure you save all of your adjustments. And now you see here, we have a Google Meet. So I just wanted to go over this. I know Mr. Funes is going to do a version, but I want to get that out there as a way of letting you know there are ways you can do it where it will, integrate into your system effectively. I've used the Camelot for Kids email address, which is also managed by Camelot, but also managed by Google, and that's a Google account. You could do this from your personal account if you feel there are difficulties because there's G Suite on all of the Camelot networks. So it's kind of, you got some type of firewall or infrastructure that might give you some headaches. So try out the feature. I'm trying to get this out there way before Thursday. So, it could be a fruitful meeting. Got any questions or concerns about what I did here? Please reach back out to me and let me know. Stay safe out there and Sam.